All right, the next fight is one that I'm really excited for. Gregor Gillespie versus Yancy Medeiros. And Yancy Medeiros has been in some fucking wars lately. I mean, he just got out of a knockout loss to Cowboy Cerrone. Before that, he picked up a third-round TKO over the other Cowboy, Alex Oliveira, which was one of the craziest fights. I mean, for 3 rounds straight, it was just a barn burner. And both guys were hurt at one point, and I think Oliveira almost had Medeiros out of there in the first round, and then they hurt each other again in the second, and then he was able to just, I mean, he's Hawaiian, right? So you know he's tough as fuck. Trains with Max Holloway. Bad motherfucker. And he thrives on that chaos a little bit, right? And he's fighting a guy in Gregor Gillespie who is a phenomenal wrestler. Went to Edinburgh University, which is about an hour north of Clarion, which is where I went, a little more than an hour probably, like an hour and a half, 2 hours. North of Clarion, where I went to college. It's actually a sister school of Edinburgh. It's where Frankie Edgar went to school. Kurt Angle also went to school at Clarion. It's really weird. It's like they're small schools, but like Josh Koscheck went to Edinburgh. You get some pretty famous wrestlers out of those 2 PA schools, and a couple other ones up there as well. But anyway, he holds like a whole bunch of records at Edinburgh, and he win? I think he won a national title. He won national title while he was wrestling for Edinburgh. So his wrestling is really fucking high level, and it's aggressive. And when he gets people down, it's not just that he gets them down. It's that he's constantly working to pass, and the pace that he's moving at is ferocious. I mean, he's not letting up at all. He never lets off the gas, and he never gets fucking tired. And he's strong, and you can just tell that when he locks people down, it's like you can tell that they don't like dealing with the pressure that he's putting on them. I think he gets a lot of passes, not only because his technique is fucking close to flawless, but also because he just puts so much pressure on people that I think it makes them make mistakes. It makes them want that pressure off, and they're willing to sacrifice position in order to let him advance. Like, that's how bad they want the pressure off of them. And he just swarms people. But this is one of those fights that I think could actually end up going a lot of directions, because obviously Gregor Gillespie's wrestling pedigree is going to be known. It's not going to be like unbeknownst to Yancy Medeiros. And Medeiros likes to throw his fucking hands, but aggressive people who come out and strike aggressively tend to get taken down because their weight will get thrown off, and they're trying to get in this like fucking firefight, and they end up giving up. They end up sacrificing something that gets them a little bit off base, and they get taken down, right? But if Yancy is reserved and brings Gregor to him, he might be able to dot him up on the feet. So, like I said, there are a lot of ways this can go, because if you look at Gregor Gillespie's fight against Jason Gonzalez, that's a perfect example that Gregor Gillespie he's a fighter, like at heart, because I think he was clearly the better wrestler. He's going to be the better wrestler in a lot of situations that pop up in this weight class, a lot of them. I mean, his wrestling, like it's impressive. And watch how he works when he gets people down. If you've never watched him fight, go back and watch his fights. The way that he like slices through people's guards and just, it's nasty. But when he fought Jason Gonzalez, they would get into some fucking wars, and I thought that he'll take some risks on stuff like that. Like they had some heated exchanges on the feet. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. I could see Yancy being very patient and making Gregor come to him and counter, which I think is how Yancy has to win. I think if Yancy's pushing forward and getting overly aggressive, unless he draws Gregor into the firefight that he got into with Jason Gonzalez, which I think Gregor's going to avoid if he can. I think he's going to try to take this fight to the ground and dominate him on the ground. I don't fucking know. This fight could go a lot of different ways, but I think the most likely scenario is that Yancy starts off reserved and patient, and it kind of allows Gregor to push him up against the fence. I think he's going to kind of charge in, get him there, and I think that Yancy is going to probably defend the takedowns at first, but as the course of the fight wears on, like the fighter in Yancy and the warrior in Yancy is going to come out, and he's going to want to start swinging, and that's where he's going to get actually taken down and put on his back. I think the longer the fight goes, the more the odds swing into Gregor's favor, because I think he's going to land a takedown at some point. And when he does, I think he's going to do work on Yancy. No offense to Yancy Medeiros. I mean, I love watching him fight, and he's very talented, and he has a great chance to win this fight. Make no mistake about it. He's a bad motherfucker. I mean, his only losses have come to like Donald Cerrone, Francisco Trinaldo, Dustin Poirier, and there's one more big name he lost to. Jim Miller. I mean, so he's lost to some high-level motherfuckers, you know? So he's seen some high-level shit in there too, and this is going to be Gregor Gillespie's biggest fight of his career. That's a big thing to keep in mind. So it's a lot of pressure on you. I don't know how he deals with that or how he feels it, but I like Gregor to get the win. I'm looking for like maybe a first or second round submission. I don't think it'll go all 3 rounds. I'll be surprised if it does. Yancy is a vet, so he might be able to defend, so he might get into like the second round, but I really think when Gregor gets him down, he's just going to swarm him. If he gets him down, right? You never fucking know. Like I said, I think Yancy has a good chance to win this fight. He's really good with his hands. But when you have wrestling, and like we talked about this at the beginning of the podcast, but when you have that wrestling to lean back on and fall back on, especially, I mean, there was that Jason Gonzalez fight. You'll see Gillespie get into exchanges and get hurt, shoots a single right away, and it can nullify things and let you recover. It's such an important tool to have in your toolbox, you know, to be able to pull that out not whenever you want, but it gets you out of a lot of sticky situations. That's for fucking sure.